Beginners in HTML with Learners Academy. So today we'll be discussing about links in HTML. Links in HTML. What are links in HTML? A link simply helps us to connect different web page or links different web page together. And we have a link tag which is located at the head section of our code. We have a link tag, and this link tag can be used to link our CSS, can be linked to link our style, which is our styling component, to our HTML page. And also we can also use this link to get the source of our favicon icon, which is the icon at this part. So we can see link favicon, which is this, but this is not the kind of link we are talking about today. The kind of link we're talking about is the link that we can use to link different web pages together, and it is denoted with a tag called the A tag. So the link tag is found on the body part of our code with a tag A. This is the link tag, the A tag. Now whenever you wrap a component, whenever you wrap an element or a content with a link tag, simply tells you that you are creating a pathway or a gateway to another web page or an inner web page with that link tag. Now we have two types of linking, linking of elements or linking of web pages. We have the internal and we have the external. So firstly, we'll be talking about the external linking of web pages. Now to do this, I'm going to create a link tag. I'm going to create a link tag called I'm going to create a link tag called HTML for learning HTML. So I'm going to create, first of all, go to my folder. So this is my tree. I'll click on new file and I'll call it HTML lesson.html. So let me just make it a camera casing. Okay. Now this is going to be for my HTML lesson, so I'll just simply write this down, and over here I'll say learn HTML. Okay, so this is going to be my title for this page, and over here I'm going to write h1 HTML tutorial. Then I'm going to have the content. I'll have an h2, so links in HTML. Then I'll have a paragraph tag. I'm going to explain what I'm doing later on. I'm trying to create let's work with the flow which we all knew. So let's go. I'll also use a dummy text, which is the lorem ipsum. Then I want just 3 paragraphs. I think I'll have another one again. And lorem. Okay. I can just do this. Get another p tag. Okay. Now I've created a lesson called HTML lesson. So I can go ahead and create another file again and call it, I think we have HTML Python, so I'll call it python.html. So I'm creating another page. Then I'll use the same thing over here. I just copy this instead of rewriting, so to save time. So go over here and I'll change the document title. Python tutorial. Okay, then I'll paste this over here. So I've gotten this, I'll create another one. Like JavaScript. HTML. I think I'll be creating this. This is the last one I'll be doing. Okay, so I'll just change this over here to JavaScript. Then I'll do same for the Python. Okay, just writing the dummy topic. So let's go over to our index.html, which is the original page. Now, how do we add these links to this our element? So what we're going to do, we're going to come over to our len HTML. Then we're going to wrap it up to cut. Then we're going to write an A tag, and I'm going to explain what's going to happen over it. Then I'll put the len HTML inside. Now you can see immediately I put the len HTML, the color of the text changed from black and become blue, and you can see there's an underline telling you that this is a link. Now, how do I link this particular element or content down to this our course page of HTML? Now we can do that using the attribute called the href. The href simply stands for hyperreference. So it gives you the reference, or it contains the URL, which is the universal reference locator. It simply tells you where you are. It simply gives you a directory path of where you want to go to. So when a user clicks on len HTML, it takes the user directly to the page that contains the HTML element. But right now we haven't linked it to any page yet. So what we're going to do, we're going to link it now, but I want to show you something. On the A tag, we have two different, or let me say three different parts, which is called the simple element, which is just the A tag, and it has a color of blue. And when you click on it, it displays a pink color which simply says visited. So in HTML, it has a default color path whereby a user can see if it has clicked on that element before or he has visited that element. Now with CSS, we can customize this more and make it more beautiful and interactive, making the user to understand what is going on if the user has clicked on that particular element or the user hasn't clicked on that element. So to link this page to our HTML lesson, we're going to use the file path, and the file path is we'll be using the file name, which is HTML lesson.html. So when we create this, we have simply created a reference down to this lesson page. So when the user clicks on Learn HTML, it takes the user directly to the Learn HTML page. So let's test that out. When I click on this, immediately it moves over to my HTML tutorial, so links in the HTML, and it has these files in it. And I can do same for, okay, let me simply go back. I can do same for my Java and my Python. So let's go over to Python. So simply cut this and create an A tag. So we're going to call it Python. I'm going to reference it back python.html. Then in between, I'm going to put the line Python. So we're wrapping it with the line Python, and as this, it will move over to the last one, which is the JavaScript. I think I did not for Java, so let's just move over to JavaScript. So we have our A tag wrapped. Over here, I'm going to write my JavaScript. Okay, so now when I click on my JavaScript, it takes me directly to my JavaScript tutorial page, and when I click on my Python, it redirects me back to my Python tutorial page. Now the A tag is simply called an anchor tag. It's simply called an anchor tag. So an anchor tag creates a link from one page to another page, and we have just demonstrated this using a three-page system. We created a JavaScript page, a Python page, and an HTML lesson page. So now we'll be talking about the attributes of an anchor tag. We have talked about the href. Now let's go over to another attribute called the target. Now the target simply tells you where you want to open this particular page that you want to open. Is it on a new tab, or you want to still open it on the same tab? You might have used some varieties of websites earlier before, whereby when you click a particular link on that website, it creates a new tab for you instead of opening it in that same tab. And by default, the target has many attributes: the blank, parent, self, and top. But the most popular one we use is the blank and the parent, which we'll be talking about. By default, our target is known as the parent. The parent simply opens this particular element in this same page without moving to another page. So let's test it out. So when we click on this, it opens it on this same tab and is now moving to a new tab. But in the case of the blank, it creates a new tab for that particular element without interrupting that particular page that we're in. So when I click on this, it creates a new tab. Instead of opening it in that same tab, it creates a new tab for that particular lesson. So we can move over to other parts of our code and have the attribute, and you see it behaves the same way. Target blank. So refresh and we try it out. Python. Now you can see it's opening. It created a new tab for our Python and our HTML without opening them in that same parent tab that we're in. So with your target attribute, you'll be able to target your reference of your web page to be open either on that same page or another tab. And lastly, we'll be going over to the internal linking. How do we link our pages internally? So we can link our page internally by creating using the internal styling method. And to do this, we have to create a navigation. So we commented this part out some time ago. And to make a navigation, we have to wrap this our list item inside a nav tag. Now our browser sees these elements inside the nav tag as a navigation. So each of these elements in our list, we are going to wrap it up with a link item, with a link tag. So I have A, and you leave that open for now. Let's just do this. Okay, so after wrapping up our elements, our navigation inside the link tag, this simply means that we can click on each of these elements to take us to here to get them. And now we want to make it in a way that when we click on HTML, it's going to scroll down to this part, len HTML, and when we click on JavaScript, it's going to scroll down to JavaScript, and when we click on len on Java, it's going to move over to Java, and Python move over to Python. So how do we do this? We can do this by using what we call the internal styling method. Now, in using the internal styling method, we are going to use what we call the ID method. Now, with the help of ID, we'll be able to do the internal linking. So, we're going to move over to the element first of all, which is the HTML. So, whenever we click on the HTML, we want it to take us to len HTML. So, on the H2, we're going to create an ID attribute, and we're going to call it HTML. And on our Java, we'll do the same thing. So we have len Python to create ID Python. So we'll do this for all our elements over here. So for this, we'll have ID Java and ID JavaScript. Now, after creating this ID, how do we use them? How do we use this ID? Now, to use this ID, we have to create a reference directly back to that ID we just created. Now, in using ID, we use ID by starting the ID name with an hash symbol. So to locate this element HTML, we're going to reference it by starting with an hash symbol. So say hash HTML, then the next one is going to be hash JavaScript, then we have hash Python, then we have hash Java. Now what happens over here is that when we click on HTML, it takes us directly to the HTML part. Then when we click on JavaScript, I think, let's see, our naming convention is wrong. Let's see where the error is. Okay, now you can see that when you miss a particular pattern at which you write your ID, it's not going to work. You can see over here our S is on a lowercase, but on our link here, the S is on an uppercase. So we change it back to lowercase. So when we click on JavaScript, it takes us directly to JavaScript. Now the reason why it's not popping at the top over here is because there is no more content at the bottom of the JavaScript. So there is no space for it to move. So when we click on Python, it moves over to the Python aspect, and likewise Java, it moves over to Java. Now if you see the kind of effect it's doing, it's just jumping directly to the element. Now we can undo this and make it more smooth and easy for us by introducing styling into our code. So let's just do one styling. I think this is the first styling we'll be doing. To add an internal styling to our CSS or our HTML document, we can simply use a tag called the style tag, and we can place it on the head element. So I'm going to say HTML and say scroll behavior and give it smooth. So now what happens is that when I click on JavaScript, it's not going to jump directly, it's going to scroll down there. Now you see, it makes our web page more easy and smooth to handle. It's not like the native one where you just jump down to where you're going to. It makes it more smooth and easy for you to your users to navigate. So with CSS styling, it, like I said earlier, it has more beautiful effects and animations and styling process to our web pages, making it very good to navigate around your web page and easy for users to be able to use that particular website. So with the help of CSS, which we'll be learning soon, you'll be able to do a lot of styling. You'll learn a lot of styling principles and what to do and not what to do when styling, and it's going to help your journey as a developer. So thank you all for watching. We're going to end our lesson on links in HTML on this part. Thank you for watching. You can like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thank you.